Hello, I'm Michael. Thanks for joining me today. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and check out the description below of my online store called Bazaar, along with a link so you can get there and perhaps find something that speaks to you directly, something that you really need. That'd be great. Also, please feel free to leave me comments, questions, ideas about anything you'd like me to talk about in the future. That'd be greatly appreciated. As I'm just starting out this channel, any support I get is going to be greatly appreciated. So thanks. Today, I want to talk about risks, taking risks. One of my slogans is take a calculated risk. So I'm going to ask, are you somebody who's risk averse? Are you fearful of doing something different and new? And do you imagine all of the catastrophic things that could happen if you actually tried that thing? Does that make you hesitate? Does that make you refrain from doing that or many other possible things? If that's true, then I'm talking to you. I think all of us, whether we're severely risk averse or not, have a kind of relationship with taking risks and need ways to figure out how to do that. So I'm going to start at the beginning here. I like to start as primally as I can with a lot of things, and just acknowledge that life itself is risky. There's really no way out of it. To be alive is to be in the midst of risk. Should we get out of bed in the morning? Something bad could happen. Should we not get out of bed in the morning? Well, if we don't get out of bed, something bad could happen too. Even on that level, there's risks. So the question isn't whether or not we should take risks, because we have to, because even not taking a risk is risky. The question is, what risks should we take? How do we figure that out? How do we calculate our risks? So what I want to offer is a way to think this through, a way to arrive at decisions about what risks you're going to take with as much confidence as you can have. I divide this into the 5 reference points, 5 points that we can think about as we're considering any potential risk. One is, what is the risk? If we do this thing, what might happen? If we do this thing, what negative thing might happen? That's what a risk is. It's a negative thing. What's the reward? What positive thing could happen if we do this? Risk, reward, probability. What's the likelihood that the negative thing will happen? What's the likelihood that the positive thing will happen? Significance. How impactful would that negative thing be? Would it be devastating? Would it be annoying? Would it be inconvenient? Would it kill us? What's the significance of the positive reward? Would it be nice? Or would it be, wow, that would be amazing? Would it change your life for the better? Or would it just make it a little easier? So the significance. So we get the risk, the reward, the probability, the significance. And the last one, I think is important. They're all important, but this one's important. It's about uncertainty. It's about accepting uncertainty. Sure, I'm giving some reference points for calculating risk to hopefully allow for decisions that tend toward positive outcomes. But the fact is, we can't predict the future. We can't include every possible factor in our calculations. That no matter what we decide, something unexpected is likely to happen. So if you're looking to only take risks where there's no risk, or only the risks that you think were going to happen, then we need to rouse a little more courage, a little more sense of reality, that we can't predict everything. We can only do our best. Okay, so a way to look at risk and reward and probability, I've come up with 4 different ways that this can go. We can have something that's high risk and low reward. We can come up with something that's low risk and high reward. We can come up with something that's low risk and low reward, or high risk and high reward. Well, let's just consider each one. If it's a high risk and a low reward, that might not be a good idea, right? If we've been real, and reasonable about the rewards and the risks, that might be one risk that we don't want to take, because it's a great one, and what we're going to get out of it isn't so great. If it's a low risk and a high reward, that might be the one we're mostly looking for. Low risk, high reward. How often does that come around? Low risk, low reward. Okay, maybe. Not a lot to get out of it, but not much to lose. So maybe this is the way some of us live parts of our lives. We're living in a low reward situation. We're not getting much, but we're not taking many risks. It's safe. It's okay. Our choices are generally low risk, low reward. If you're happy living that way, then who am I to question it? But you might question it. High risk, high reward. Something horrible could happen, but if it goes right, man, could be like winning the lottery. It could be something spectacular, but man, the probability that something bad could happen is pretty high. That's a hard one. So this is one set of reference points to consider, but to make it a little more complicated, and we will make it a little more complicated as we go, probability is on a continuum, right? Something that's 98% likely to produce a negative outcome, that's pretty clear. What if it's more like 60% or 40%? What if the positive outcome is 70% and the negative outcome is 60%? And you can't, get out a calculator and get precise on this, but you can get a feeling whether it's low, medium, or high in terms of probability. And I think that's worthwhile to add into the calculation, to reflect on how likely is it that a bad or a good thing will happen, and how do you measure them against each other. So let's make it a little more complicated. There's reward, or there's risk, there's reward, there's the probability of each, the significance. How great would the great thing be? How horrible would the horrible thing be? That's also on a continuum. It could be 80% great, or 60% great, or in terms of its impact, or in terms of its negative impact, it could be the same. One thing that I think is important to also think about when we're thinking about negative impacts and their significance to really think, would it really be so bad if that happened? Sometimes I think we get really scared and averse to something because we imagine somebody will disapprove, or somebody will think we're foolish, or something like that. Okay, say they do. How bad is that? Is that really, really bad? How significant is that? I would encourage you to, not let that be of great significance unless that person has some power over your life. If all they have is an opinion, maybe the consequence is not so significant. So let's review. A risk that we're going to take is, the risk is that something bad could happen. If we're even considering doing it, there must be some reward in it, something good that could happen. How likely is it for either of these? What is the probability on a continuum? If the good thing or the negative thing happens, how significant would that be for us? Would it ruin our lives or just be painful and inconvenient? Would it transform our lives and bring us to a tremendously wonderful place? Or would it just kind of be nice? So think these things through. So perhaps it's been clear that I'm not suggesting, if you're risk averse, hey, just get over it and take a risk, throw yourself off a cliff and just trust that you'll be able to fly or there will be a net. No, probably won't fly. Probably there won't be a net. I think that's naive. But if you don't want to live in fear and in a sense of mediocrity with low risks and low rewards, you may need to take some risks where the probability isn't low, but the probability of reward is high and the significance of the reward is high. Understanding that nothing can be absolutely predicted. Unexpected things will happen. And even if bad things do happen, you probably survive. You probably survive. Probably even learn something so that you're better prepared the next time you decide to take a risk. Okay, I think I've gotten it said for today. May you know of something that's worth taking a risk for. Maybe you want something really important. May you sort that out and find the courage and the clarity to take action and overcome your fear. And may it work out for you. If not immediately, eventually. Okay. That's it for now. Thanks for joining me. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Toodaloo.